Alright, so this is my book vlog thingy, number 1. We'll start right from the beginning. Got a title page here, and this is our first project, pretty much. Well, project in class, project work thing. This is 2 storyboards. We were looking at storyboards in general, so we were looking at how you fit simplistic drawings across 9 or more frames to express this beginning, middle and end of the story in relevance to your animations. And it's usually the first step of the animation process to do your storyboard, and that's just to help you get all your ideas down at once, just right in front of you, so you can translate it almost frame by frame. Well, not frame by frame, but scene by scene with the storyboard, and it plans out how the animation is start to finish. Obviously it's a simplified version of what your animation will be, so it's simpler drawings. It's to be done fast, so it's not going to be looking great necessarily. Under each little box I have a description on what's going on. For example, inserting coin and money, just if anyone didn't know that was coin going into a vending machine. Or this one, Coke can rolls down the stairs, gets fizzed up. So it's just kind of, it's almost like when you get a script and you have the stage directions. So what's the stage directions of the animation here? Done a little sketch of it, but that's not really important. On to the next thing. So here we have a formatrope. Formatrope is well, it's a little circle piece of cardboard with 2 pictures on either side, and each picture acts as a different frame. There are 2 frames, and if you switch between the frames fast enough, then you can get a little bit of illusion going on, and you can see an animation. Oh, fancy! So that's a formatrope. That's how that works, and that was one of this was part of early stage animation, which is why it's important. This is when people start discovering that if you put 2 and 2 together, then you can make a little animation if you roll them about fast enough. And so I have 2 little examples of how what might work as a thaumatrope. This would look like the bottle's shaking back and forth. This one looks like the dude sticking his tongue out, and then there's an annotation telling you what a thaumatrope is. And now here's a storyboard on an animation we're supposed to have up on Cloodle, which is an extrusion animation, which was based on having more than one layer to an animation, a 3D aspect about it, instead of it all being 2D and all being drawn out. It's one thing on top of the other. So if I were to move this bundle of masking tape instead of draw the bundle of masking tape, so that's a 9-frame storyboard with a description, 3 little concept pieces on the character itself, a secondary idea, and some more concept on the character. Here we have part of Sally's contextual weekly work, which is research on Marlboro Man and the kind of the start of advertising, or not the start, but yeah, part of the origins of advertising and it becoming mainstream, and using graphics design as the main part of animation instead of it just being text in a newspaper. Onto this is my lessons work on history of animation. Here we have a timeline. It's just Coca-Cola's history, because this is part of my research towards products of Coca-Cola. And it goes through everything here. A little drawing, little thing, explaining thing. It goes year by year. That's the timeline. Here is some digital collage we did, and this is a clown line art Cloudy has done, and on top of it we've overlaid, well not overlaid, we copied and pasted different textures from the shared folder into it to give it the colour instead of drawing it or instead of colouring it or just blocking it. This is a different method that is almost like a collage, almost like you could do it hand, but this is digital. I have done text overlays as well, so I've used a different thing. What I've done is I've used overlay instead of opacity, just to kind of contrast the colours more. Instead of dulling down the white, it will get rid of the white. So I've just got the text. So that's pretty neat. I've got a paragraph explaining it. This is my unfinished page on Disney World. Here will be a load of info. Next time you see it, when you're marking it, there'll be a load of stuff written about Disney World's history. But I've done a little piece, little thing, stuck some pictures in. This is another bit of Sally's work, which is the definition of animation. So this is what it should be. It's all of the animation, well, all the different types of methods, commonly used methods of animation to define animation itself. So we've got two pictures here. An example would be the digital processes of making animation from sketch to 3D, to 3D rendering, to a 2D/3D rendering. It's overlaid. That's interesting. And we've got another picture here, which is of a set of a Tim Burton movie, I think, but it's just to express the wide variety of animation medias as available today. Here we have two sketches of the mechanism I used in my final animation. This is my final one. This is my first one. They're very different. They're two completely different ideas. So this one was a handle that used an axis to lift a lever back and forth because of its angle. The spatial limitation it has on the top border here. You can see it moves back and forth, and that was going to be part of my 3D thing of animation, but I couldn't think of a practical use for it in the animation, anything that mattered really. So I went for a part of a set which was meant to be surreal. It was kind of meant to be a bit like, why is there a cat in a box coming out and all that stuff. So I've gone with the cat in a box, and what I did was I took it into software and I took down its original picture on the front, which was like a texture of a cat, like with fur and stuff, and I turned it into a simple, almost Illustrator-esque drawing, just shapes and colours. And then that went into being my final piece. I cut it out, made it, and that was used in the animation. This is definition of animation part 2. These are all like basically the history of animation without pictures yet. But some different types of animation here. So it's like thaumatrope and zoetrope, which is basically a spinning disc, and you can see through it. And these are different pictures I'll have here. But this is part of Sally's work, I'm pretty sure. This is my Thomas Beale cipher piece, which I've done digitally. I have yet to put my hand-rendered version here. That'll be in number 2. So that's where number 2 starts off here. So that is my current up-to-date sketchbook work on one half. There's another half to it. But there should be an updated version with this all done, and with this talked about, and then a secondary hand-rendered version here. That's to be done part 2. Not in a couple of days. No, that's to be updated part 2. It's going to be on the other side of the book. Yeah.